Hey everybody, we're back at the City of Raleigh Museum, and with me now is Yvonne Sanders and Belle Long. And to both of you, thank you for taking time for us today.
Well, thank you for having us.
Well, let me first ask an easy question of both of you, and just give me a little background as to who you are and what you're doing. And why don't we start with you, Belle?
Okay, I'm a descendant of Theophilus Hunter Sr., who was the enslaver at Spring Hill Plantation outside of Raleigh in the late 18th century. And I've started doing research, and through Ernest here at the museum, was introduced to Yvonne Sanders, who's a descendant of one of the enslaved people at Spring Hill Plantation. And so that's how we got together, was through Ernest.
I think, Yvonne, you said you and Belle are pretty good friends now.
Yes, we do a lot of research, we do a lot of interacting, we do a lot of calling, double checking on research history, and that is one of the things that really ties us together.
Well, it's a fascinating story, you know, and talking to Ernest, I got to ask you too. You now know a little bit about your history. Mm-hmm. How does it make you feel? Yvonne, let's go with you. I mean, you feel, has it changed you in any way?
Well, I look at things in a different way, and even though I know the suffering that my family, my senior ancestors went through, to find out who they were and to be able to research their roots has really, really been enlightening, and it's been a very, very enjoyable journey for me. So I try to focus on the goodness, which is our family history, which is continuing to grow as I do more research.
And how about you, Belle? You're coming from a different perspective.
I am, yeah. It's been very eye-opening to me, and it's been, of course, not all pleasant to learn that my ancestors enslaved people and treated them as human chattel. But I realized that that was what they did in that time. People who should have known better, didn't. And they were not, I don't know about mine in particular, but in general, most people who held slaves then were not kind. And even if they were, the people had no freedom. So it was just a terribly unjust time, and I'm not proud that my ancestors participated in it, but I do cherish the opportunity to meet people like Yvonne and other descendants of other people who were enslaved there, and have an opportunity to apologize for what my ancestors did and to assist them in any way I can with their research and try to move forward, make this world a better place.
Well, it looks like you're accomplishing that. Look how far you've come.
We're trying.
You guys are best buds. Now, this is, I don't know how you researched this, but how difficult has it been, and how long has it taken you for both of you? I think you're now teamed up, but it sounds like you were doing a lot of it on your own as well. So give us a perspective for folks who'd like to do it themselves. Is it tough?
It is, particularly with the enslaved, because when you start to do the research, you find that sometimes the name spellings are different. So as the censuses are done, different census takers spell the names differently. So sometimes you have to look in lots of different places to continue to trace one ancestor. And so with Belle's help, we've been able to, like we said, to trace our ancestry back to Spring Hill Plantation. And with her help, we've been able to begin our massive family tree. So what that means is that Ned is my great-great-grandfather, and so we've been able to build from that. And beyond him is what they call the brick wall, which is the era where enslaved people were only traced by ticky marks, you know. And so as a result, it's going to be very difficult to go beyond Ned, but we are very pleased that we have been able to begin at his level and trace forward. So our family tree is growing constantly, and new children are being born. And so we are looking at over 1,000 descendants already. And as time goes on, we expect that number to increase even more.
What's it like when you contact, and I'll ask both of you this, you reach out to someone, maybe it's a new family member, a new descendant. Have you done that? And what kind of reaction do you get? Belle, you want to take that one?
Well, it's always great to find new family, new cousins.
Sure.
And some people are more interested than others, just like in any undertaking.
Sure.
And some people relish it and want to help the journey go forward, and others just say, well, that's neat, but take me off your list. I'm not really that interested in it.
And how about you, Yvonne?
Well, the interesting thing for me is I went to elementary school and high school with people who had even the same last name, and some had different names, different last names. And only until I started doing the research did I find out they were first cousins and second cousins.
Well, that could have been awkward, couldn't it have?
Yes.
Yes.
So I was excited to call them and say, guess what? And they say, what? And I say, we're kin. And they are all surprised and say, oh, really? And I'm like, yes. So that part of the journey has been very exciting. And to go at the research from an angle of finding cousins that are still in the area is what is more exciting to me. So that's where my journey is right now. As we continue our research, we're looking for people that we can reach out and touch.
Well, more family is always good, right?
Yes.
And
Exactly.
just one last question. What's happening here? And this all kicked off with someone who had a tremendous interest in history. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about all of this? I mean, did you ever think you'd be in a facility like this, a city that has embraced it as it has? And this is a story that's going to continue to grow. What's your reaction?
I think it's fabulous for people to understand their roots and where they came from, because for me personally, it just gives me a sense of rootedness. I don't know how to explain it other than that, a sense of people who came before me standing there in the past, and I can take the good and the bad of what they did and try to build the future based on that. And knowing that knowledge gives me more self-confidence to be able to pursue it.
It is neat. Well, to both of you, what a pleasure meeting you both. And continued success on your journey.
Well, thanks.
And your family, start saving for that Christmas. Your family's getting bigger. Thank you very much.
Thank you.